if you're gonna be getting this, and you know that you're gonna be work, and you're gonna be, not just during regular hours, but even after hours. So we're probably
I like that you're looking out for our employees, because that's powerful.
sure, that's, yeah, it's part and parcel.
She doesn't respond to the text. She may be in the document.
How many cities do you have?
We have 57 clubs. Some clubs, some cities have 2 clubs. And the ones, like Weatherford's got 2 clubs, McKinney's got 2 clubs.
Rutherford,
And Shirley has 2 clubs.
you're the district governor over those 57? Does Halton City still have a Lions Club?
I don't think they do anymore. I think they get well yet. But our furthest north is Dempsey. Furthest south is Glen Rose. Furthest east is Princeton. And furthest west is Weatherford. We have in 10 different counties. We have 1,600 lions, 1,657 clubs.
Josh, I really like your updates, your Monday updates.
I appreciate it.
Outstanding.
I didn't get a chance to read it today.
He never does.
I normally do, I just didn't get a chance today.
So what's the status on DMS doing that?
Drywall starts on Friday,
Awesome. Good deal.
and I've got contracting for the drop ceilings coming by on Wednesday to measure. So trying to get it to where I've got one coming the other's supposed to get done.
But we're well.
I called Randall, head of the EMS today, gave me an update. He was happy.
Good. Glad you keep him safe.
I guess I gotta get the cabinet guy started, go ahead and get that going so he doesn't interfere with the other.
Well, what happened to our drop down ceiling in here?
Okay, so when he left, he handed me a piece of paper from a legal pad and a phone number to Alibaba and said, this is where I was getting the stuff from, and I threw it away, because I won't buy from Alibaba.
Alibaba's, that's a real nice.
Yeah, that's the name of that Chinese,
Buy direct from China.
Amazon.
Oh,
It's
no.
Amazon, yeah.
Oh, no.
And, his original idea was, to glue them to the ceiling, and I kept saying, to him, you can't glue foam to spray foam. Just can't do that. I mean, well, we'll be sitting there talking and the foam panel will come down. So I threw it away. For one, I couldn't believe that all that was made on a conversation with somebody in China through Alibaba. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna show up. I don't trust it.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was my decision, I would have literally put in a dropped ceiling in here with sound bat insulation behind it and we'd be done.
I'd like to try maybe just carpet first and see how that the
Carpet the walls?
yeah, not full, but just partial or something to break up the sound. And then you can try going on up, because the higher you get, the harder it is to,
By accident, trying to find a drop ceiling contractor today, I ran into a company that does floating acoustic panels. I mean, there's a bunch of alternatives, literally panels that just float in the air and bounce sound off.
That's what we did in one of the stores I worked at. We just took 2x4s and framed it out and put a drop ceiling on a 2x4 frame and just suspended it. And like we call them clouds, just
Yeah,
suspended.
that's what they actually call them, clouds, yeah.
And it
I
makes
see.
a world of difference.
is that right?
Yeah, because it just gives it something to absorb.
Oh,
And yeah, if it was suspending, we obviously can do it suspended from the ceiling, you just can't glue.
Stephen, do you listen to them on YouTube still, the meetings?
Yes.
Is the audio better?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I've not been getting any complaints.
They're much better. I don't know why. Since,
Well, we had 2 cameras up there, and I always thought that was the problem, and when I re-hooked everything up, I just hooked the one up here.
yeah,
So I haven't had any issues sitting in the back hearing y'all, and I've not heard anything online that there's been audio
it's
issues online.
much better, much better. I don't, that may have been a big difference, but it still could use some improvements, not real clear, but it's by far a giant improvement over what it was. Yes. Our previous contract, John, we paid a base reimbursement for automobile. And here you just have it listed as destinations beyond 50 miles from the city's incorporated limits. So you don't have a monthly allowance for your car.
I didn't put one down, sir. No, again, that's common practice, but I figured, you know, I don't think I'll be doing the volume of traveling for this city like I have for some of the others. And so really, when I have to go to a meeting that's more than 50 miles, I think that's where I'm putting the reimbursement.
I think it was 120 a month. No, pardon?
Would you like me to look it up?
No, we're good. Thank you.
It's an IRS rate, right?
57 cents per mile.
Yeah, I think it's up to like 57 cents a mile on the IRS grid.
I think they went up a penny and a half.
Yeah. Oh,
I think it's 58.5 now.
like when I went to Waco and back, literally the amount they would reimburse me was about the same amount of money it cost me in gas.
Mhm.
I was like, okay.
It's like Joshua, he drives from
Gainesville. Yeah,
Gainesville.
well, we had pretty much the same commute, went from Denton to here to Gainesville to here.
Want to make sure we were always economically good for you to have the job, to be commuting back and forth this way.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about the commute from Denton to here and back home. It's when I'm conducting city business, like, I don't know
Sure.
often I've got to go to Wise County yet. I have to go down,
Right.
you know, the COG, New Central Texas Council of Governments down in Arlington. I mentioned we'll go to some workshop seminars there from time to time.
Very good. Not good.
729. Did you get the cameras where they would go to somewhere?
Well, they had to be replaced.
I'm sorry?
They have to be replaced. And I went to,
That's not a big deal.
I went to Costco and the one that I saw there was $7.99 at Costco for the same system, of course, better system.
Well,
And
okay, I have a 6 camera system that I can send to my phone, anywhere I want to,
right,
and it was only $2.99
was it the one at Costco?
at Costco. $2.99. It's a fine system too.
I'll have to go back because I've got 8 cameras. So I'll have to go back and if it's an expandable system, then I have no problem with that.
I don't, mine's not expandable. It's a
Can't
maximum,
add, okay.
maximum of 6.
Okay. That's where, I think that's where we would have our issues. I have 8 cameras online. And I called, a good customer of mine who is the, security systems for Mary Kay worldwide. And I asked him about the system that I looked at, and he was in the middle of installing that for an executive at Mary Kay. And so he highly recommended the system that I looked at as well.
Hey, I have a acquaintance that's in the security business. He's an individual. Works one man, lives in Weatherford. We could get a price from him.
I'll take something kind of. Ah, there it was. Yeah, it was a Lorax 8-channel system. And we need to, I mean, that was something I wanted to do a long time ago, was get something set up.
Need 8 cameras?
Yeah, because like the back, I've got one that views both these door openings here, and then one that shoots over to the other side, so I can see the back side openings to the multi-purpose building. Same with the front. One shoots here, one shoots there, and then of course, one in the front office, one in the entryway, one in the back office, 2 in here. So yeah, there's not any that are left idle, and then plus, we got 2 in the bathroom. No, I'm just kidding. But
That's,
yeah, fortunately, we're not governed by Sammy Davis. It wasn't Sammy Davis Jr. that did that, it was Chuck Berry. Yes. But yeah, I'd like to set up a Costco account for the city, just save money.
Let's give it 1 hour. Yeah, take long. Call still again.
I'll be quicker to drive by his house.
Yes, yeah, the waffles there.
I can straight the voice now, it doesn't even ring.
That's fair, because I was ringing first.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Judith says she can be here in 15 if needed.
Yes, it's needed.
Yes, ma'am. She'll work. We don't have one. All right. She'll be here in just 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes.
So if it could be waiting until.
Right. So that way that is.
Yes.
Security.
Yeah. Yes. Want to make sure that it wasn't. At the end, that they did that line box.
Oh, no.
Hopefully this is. Long term.
If we don't have ordinance on renting the city hall, how have we been doing it? I don't know how he's been doing it.
I mean, since I've been here, I think it's only been rented out twice. And it was basically the cost to cover the individual who was here to monitor it. So, $30 an hour was what was charged. There was no standard operating procedure of,
Plus the cleanup thing.
No, it didn't charge that.
What?
I kid you not. It was literally the last time it was rented, they had it for 4 hours. They cut a check for $130 and left.
Did they clean it up?
Yeah, they did. They did.
So, yeah, if they cleaned it up, then, but there ought to be a contingent,
Yeah, there should be a safety deposit of like $50 or $60 in the event you leave it thrashed and we have to.
And this lady doesn't know if she's gonna use it. She was inquiring, depends on the hours the class bounces out, where students come from. But I didn't want that not to have this new Lexington class if they didn't have it here.
I think the idea all along was, since we don't have a rec center or anything like that, this was one way for us to give back to the city.
Oh, my God, my daughter and my son-in-law is a police officer in South. And my daughter had her granddaughter's birthday party there yesterday. You ought to see that, South Lake.
Oh, I can only imagine. Considering it's in South Lake, I can only imagine.
God, it has an Olympic-sized indoor swimming pool.
Good Lord. Wow.
It has a gym that would make any other place look bad. I never saw anything like it.
Now, I mean, when
Three stories.
when I grew up in Carrollton, we had a pretty nice rec center. Had an indoor gymnasium, had racquetball courts, ping pong.
Yes,
tables.
got racquetball, volleyball, basketball.
Yeah.
And it's
Unbelievable.
But 3 stories, good Lord.
I wanted,
what it must be like to have this section of a large budget to play with and provide that kind of thing.
They pay their employees well, so.
They do, they take care of their people.
Be a little more,
Addison does it as well. They're very good about taking care of their
you
employees.
give them more than 3 months than this amount of time, but it's hard to just relate to say that.
Is it me or do these chairs slowly go down?
They do.
I'm like, I sit there and I finally get to a position of a man and then I end up as a toddler again.
They won't stay up, yeah.
I think that's why they ended up here.
Oh, I just figured it was something bought off of Amazon.
These come from Jim Max. It's got somewhere, so I figured.
I worked for a land surveyor for 3 years back in,
I figured the school's on the way.
Yeah.
in.
No service source now, probably.
Kelly, because since they lost it.
Right.
Nothing there.
He wouldn't want,
Nothing there.
somebody said he needed
There was
all that.
nothing there.
No.
It's
It's humiliating enough being here long enough to it shrinks down.
So it's been a lot, but they have a lot of, their building code is extraordinary. They have, for many, many years, they didn't allow anything except, half acre properties. They built estate houses on those properties. And so, that, 85% of the revenues from ad valorem taxes, not necessarily from business. And, Colleyville is, I can explain it to you there. As far as business development goes, our city is, in the center of the donut. We've got Grapevine, South Lake, Casper, and Dorchester Hill, all the way around us, and they do all the business.
All rise.
You okay?
Nope, I'm here, sorry.
Thank you, Mel.
Grandma Judy's,
Thank you so much.
No, grandma, pretty important.
Yes.
sorry.
That's all right.
So 7:42, we'll call this meeting to order for the City of New Fairview. Roll call, John Taylor.
Stephen King,
Julie Berger.
Steve Meisner.
Scott Johnson is out. You know, John, you got a pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag, honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
At 7:43, we'll start the work session.
7:43, is that what you said?
Yes. First, we'll skip to number 2 and go ahead and let Stan go
Stan.
first. Yes.
Do I stand right here?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
You
sir.
can stand right there, it's fine.
Okay, well, I know you gotta have this for the record. My name is Stan Hall, and I live at 6229 Cimarron Trail in Colleyville, Texas. And you're probably asking yourself, what in the world is he doing here? Well, I have to tell you, I want to let you know about Lions Club International. I just happen to be the district governor of District 2E2, which has 57 Lions Clubs, all the way from as far north as Denison to as far south as Glenrose, west to Weatherford, and all the way out to Princeton. So we're in 10 different counties. We have 57 clubs, and we do a lot of good. Lions Club International is the largest service organization in the world. We have 1.4 million members worldwide. And we're serving, if you look at the brochure that I gave you, laying on your desk, you can see that we've been in business for over 100 years. In fact, my district has like 7 clubs that are over 100 years old. Okay. We have 1.4 million members. There's 48,000 Lions clubs and 200, that we're in 200 plus countries. So get all those things out of the way. Now, in deference to my friend from the Rotary Club here tonight, the Lions Club has more members than Rotary does. However, the Rotary Club is 1 week older than the Lions Club. My district, I said, has 57 clubs. There are 22,000 Lions in the state of Texas, and there's 16 districts. Okay. We serve our communities. The entire purpose for serving as being Lion is to serve the communities that we live in. And so that's why I wanted to talk to New Fairview, because I think that establishing a Lions Club not only would get your members involved, your citizens involved, then it has a propensity to pull people together as well, okay? When you're serving together as many things, as sometimes we do in the military or other places, you find out that you make friends much easier. So I'd like to propose that we present, possibly organize a Lions Club here in New Fairview. Some examples of service. There are some Lions Clubs in the immediate area. Bridgeport has a Lions Club, and they're doing very well. What do they call it when you throw those bean bags into a cornhole? Cornhole. They do a cornhole tournament in downtown Bridgeport every year. Make lots of money to give away to charity. Bridgeport, even though, Jacksboro, is not in my district, and Bridgeport is. Bridgeport was the first one in Jacksboro to be serving 1,000 meals a day for a week to the affected people in Jacksboro. So that's one example of this, what we do. The Keller Lions Club, located in North Tarrant County, puts on a carnival every year, which is a lot of fun. And they get money which they give to charity. Collinville has 4 different fundraisers every year. We also serve our community in laborious ways as well. We have 4 fundraisers. We raise over $100,000 a year, and we give all of that to charity. So Collinville, by the way, is the largest club in the district. There was a tornado, not only in Jacksboro, but there was one in, I believe, Mayfield, Missouri here just recently. And a Lion from the Collinville Club who happens to own a restaurant loaded up food in his trailer and took it to Mayfield, Missouri. Didn't ask for any reimbursement. He just did it because we serve people. We routinely give money to people along the southern coast where hurricanes have hit. And that happens through the Lions Club International, which is our foundation. They give away millions every year to help people in need. So where there's a lion, where there's a need, there will be a lion. Those are a few examples. If you look at the handout that I gave you, actually it's on the back panel, you can see that the Lions Club International has 5 global causes, and they are diabetes, vision, hunger, environment, and childhood cancer. And Steve asked me earlier, are we still doing vision? Oh, yes. We've been challenged to do vision assistance and vision testing for a long time. In fact, my district's Lions Organ Eye Bank gives away over $50,000 a year to help people who can't afford eye surgery. We just let them have it to do the eye surgery. Well, we give it to the doctors, you know what I'm saying. One of these that's close to my heart is diabetes, because my sister died of diabetes about 2 weeks ago. And she had an awful time because she had like 7 different heart surgeries. She had lots of eye surgeries. Diabetes is a crippling disease. If you know anybody that has it, it just destroys your body. It just really does.
I'm
So these
sorry.
are,
I'm sorry.
pardon me.
I'm sorry to hear about your sister.
Thank you. So these are the 5 global causes. Now, when I speak to Lions Club, by the way, I have 57 clubs. I've spoken to 52 of them. And I always give them these 5 global causes, plus I give them 100 ways to serve their community. Suggestions only. The one gentleman asked me, he said, well, Stan, I can't give you one of these. But I don't expect any club to be involved, fine. But I do expect that they would choose 1 or 2 and get involved. Maybe they don't want to choose any of these five, and they want to be more specific to your particular community. That's okay too, because what we say is it's your club, your way. You don't even have to wear the yellow vest if you don't want to. Okay? You can get a shirt that has lines on it. This is a nice way to do that. But it is lots of fun. We have fun helping others. So what I would like to do and propose here is that we establish a Lions Club in the city of New Fairview. Market research has told me, we've done a lot of it, that when I get city leaders involved in my Lions clubs, they grow. And whether you guys know it or not, you are the city leaders. So if I can use your influence and perhaps your distribution channels to set up a meeting of those people in your community who are interested in starting a Lions Club, I will come here and initiate it, get it started, we'll get a charter, and we'll get it going. So that's what I'd like to ask you to do. I've got my contact information as a card on the back of all those handouts. And I think Brooke has my contact information as well. So if you'd like to discuss this among yourselves, you don't have to make a decision tonight. But I would like to hear from you either yea or nay with respect to a lot of stuff. You can't do anything better than serve your fellow man. And that's what we do. We serve, and we serve well. Where there's a need, there'll be a line. So that's my spiel. I was thinking, Phil, I'll be happy to answer your questions if you'd like.
What does it take for the city to be able to help you do this? What would you need from
What I
us?
think it would take is for you to make an announcement on your website and or the broadcast email perhaps and say, okay, on such and such a night here at the city hall, we're going to have an organizational meeting. And we'll have some lines from District 2E2 come, and I'll tell them what I told you what lines do. And we'll gauge the interest of people who want to join. Okay, and we can actually start a club on that very night. It will be a few weeks later before we actually have a charter night, but we can get something started on that night. It is an honor, as you might know, to be a charter member of a Lions Club. I have seven clubs in my district that are over 100 years old. There's no charter members in those clubs because they're over 100 years old. But I have to say there are a bunch of new clubs, and they are very proud to be charter members of their Lions.
So it doesn't cost the city any money, the citizens money, nothing like that?
No, it won't
You don't
cost
need
you.
anything from us other than to,
Right
give
now,
you
if
time
you would
and
like to
space.
join, there are some fees, but I think what will happen is I'll recruit another Lions Club to sponsor New Fairview.
what are your fees?
I think it's like $30 to get started
Oh,
per person.
okay.
And it's not offensive, it's not a lot. And if I can get another club to sponsor a New Fairview club, then they will pay for your flags and your bells and your banners and all.
Nice.
Yeah, so that would be around about $500, but they'll pay for that. Okay, I'm thinking about having the Sanger Club, which is not far from here, be a sponsor for New Fairview.
Well, thank you so much.
So I would appreciate your help on this thing. Again, I understand and I appreciate again the opportunity to speak to you. So,
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
I'd love to see it. Thank
okay.
you. Thank you.
Sounds great.
And I think since I live such a long ways away, I might just go ahead and go.
You can't.
Yeah, so, thank you.
I'm sorry again. I know I wasted time.
Okay, nice to meet all of you.
Same here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next thing on the work session is discuss the use of city hall. I put on there specifically for the North Texas Dyslexia. They want to possibly rent the facility. She's waiting on, just 3 consecutive Fridays in April. She's having to wait on her list for students to find out if it'd be here or Rome or Justin or Newark. You know, depends on, she's trying to find a central location, depends on where students are coming. And honestly, I did not find out, and I dropped the ball on this, if they were a nonprofit or not. Because I'm looking at all these deals at Robinson and other, most places, I guess we can kind of get an idea now of what we want to charge. It looked like most cities charge $20, $20 to $30 an hour to rent facilities during the day. Several of them only charge $5 for nonprofits an hour. And that was kind of, my thought was $20 to $9.5 for nonprofit. Brooke, do you know if that dyslexia, North Texas Dyslexia Fit a nonprofit or not? 'Cause I know they charge the student, but that's to pay the salary of the teacher and travel, but.
I don't know, let me see if she wrote it on the Facebook
Okay.
page. I don't believe so, but let me double check.
And so I was trying to fast forward this. I know we talked about it a little bit, but I didn't want to leave these kids out if we're gonna have to.
Right.
Cherry Park,
When would it be on?
Burger Hill.
It's during the day.
During the day,
During
so
the
that could be this area.
They'd be in this area. She sent to us like, 4 hours or something like that during the day.
So there's no problem with people being here as far as like our insurance and stuff. If somebody gets hurt here,
No, it's just like on the city park, city facility. It's, you get hurt,
We're good.
it's on
Okay.
you, not on the city. So that's the good thing about a city.
I'm not positive.
Okay. So. If that's,
What's the name?
so do we have any kind of policy, like, because we've been asked before if people could use these facilities. So
we have nothing.
we may need to do that.
Yeah, that's what, so that's where we needed to get started with some dollar amounts to get back to Robin so she could get started.
You need it spelled, Josh?
I have it.
I ran across in, old minutes where they did approve an ordinance at one point for, the use of the facility.
I went through our ordinance log, which Salvador went ordinance by ordinance, and I can't find it.
Okay.
Well, we sure did it.
Yeah,
And since I've been here.
I just can't find it anywhere in the ordinance
Well,
log.
we need to do it then.
I agree.
And also, within that same ordinance, we need to address for outside events.
Yes.
And I think that we're missing, profit, but, the revenue is for the city sponsoring it and, kind of taking the lead on it instead of having individuals, do the events. I think that we need to kind of explore on having some type of a resident committee to where they could, explore how we could set up some type of events on a monthly basis or something.
And then, as we've already just had this discussion with East West Fire and stuff too, everybody, we need to be on the same page.
Yes.
It's going to be used for holidays, things like this, instead of,
Yes, we
This-
need
this-
to coordinate.
Yeah, so, yeah,
And I
everything,
think the mayor should be the person who is in
Absolutely.
charge of the coordinating.
but it has to,
we need a calendar.
maybe I worded it wrong,
Yes, a calendar.
but I think it needs to go through the city offices.
Yes, it does.
On the calendar, we are in, when the new website comes out, that was one of the things that's gonna be on the homepage is a calendar where I could possibly make it to where it's interactive for people to be able to go on and request it so that everybody could see whenever it's taken or not.
That's a good idea. And then it's just all inclusive for city, East West Fire, citizens, everybody's together.
Joshua, what's our status on that second interest? We just on hold on that?
Which second interest?
The one that's for the fiber.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, that needs to be a full discussion.
The $58,000.
That's,
Yeah,
And I talked to Arnie, they, as long as they know about it, they can work on it. If they need to, if they need to, they can come up here and they offered to park the vehicles at the gate.
okay.
I don't think there's any reason why we need to spend $50,000, $60,000 on them drive.
I agree,
Yeah, because we're not,
especially right now.
yes,
No.
Yes,
we,
thank you.
yeah. Like I said, as long as we work with them, they're more than happy to come and move their vehicles.
Is there not, Josh, a way to go from the back to the end behind the church? Is that not also a driveway? It's not ours.
Not ours.
we don't know it.
So, but yeah, I think a second driveway for those reasons are crazy.
I think that's my personal opinion. That
All
was
this
just
fails, we have the secondary entrance over here. All I would have to do is cut the gate, put a gate back on it, and we could have parking in the field. I mean, it's grass, but it's mowed, people are
There is an opening there now, right?
Coming in.
No, there is not an opening. there. It's just-
There's an entrance, it's culverted and everything, but they welded, welded it shut. We can obviously put a gate back in there
To me, that makes more sense to do
Yes.
that than spending money.
for significantly less than $58,000.
Agreed.
I could figure that myself. if I need-
Right, exactly.
Okay.
I'm going to take a picture, just for reference, of my driveway at my new property, which I paid $3,540 for. It's 450 feet long. It's solid driveway in front of the house, the barn, the RV, solid 100 feet out. But you won't believe it, it was $3,540. That's all I paid.
Yeah, I had zero involvement when any bid or anything like that was being done there.
When I saw those figures that were presented to us for
Yeah.
$58,000, no way.
And I thought that secondary entrance to the east, my personal opinion, that
Oh,
was
that's
dangerous.
crazy.
I,
Yeah,
I thought it was dangerous to pull out of there.
absolutely.
Yes,
We don't have a second entrance. I think it needs to go to the west.
thank you.
Well, we already have.
That's why I was wondering if
Yeah, I
there's
just
a
thought
way
that
we
was-
can
yeah.
get off 2264 and
No,
stuff.
we can't get there. Originally, this property was, but the city doesn't own all the way to 2264.
No, well, I just don't know who owns that track.
Joe Maxwell is in the cemetery.
Wilson family.
Yes, Wilson Family Trust. But yeah.
Okay,
Yes. All right, I'll get with Robin and get something drawn up for sure, but,
We probably need, have it on another.
well,
action item.
yes, an action item. I just want to get these numbers, everybody's opinion.
But, yeah, there should not be a problem with,
Having the Lexus
yeah,
dyslexia group coming. That was my reason I tried to get done tonight.
especially with being here today because
Yes, there
If
is.
it's during the day, staff is already here.
I'm here, so that's my facility, my responsibility. But yeah, then I don't have to afford the additional cost of being here after hours and what's.
They are wanting to come in an hour before opening.
Okay,
They will
so,
start at 8 o'clock.
Oh, I see.
8 o'clock, okay.
but they can have access with that, and if you happen to come early, right?
Correct. Yeah, I can set them up with a temporary code and the only thing they
And we
have
can lock
access
off the
to,
city side.
the only thing they have access to is the bathrooms. That's already got electronic codes everywhere else. So they're literally going to go in the hallway, go to the bathroom, and that's it.
When does our cleaning crew come?
She's on Fridays.
Maybe we can make it so she can come after this.
Well, the time that they're wanting, she can be cleaning in here and then come back to do the courtroom.
Okay, so I don't see a problem.
All right, you let her know that in case.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, moving along at 8:03, we will adjourn the work session.
Now, she's wanting to start this next Friday, this is her date.
Okay.
Are
I'll
we
get-
gonna want, are we agreeing that there's not a fee during hours and we're gonna decide what the fee is after hours?
We need to find out if she's a nonprofit.
Okay. I will let you know first thing in the morning.
Oh,
Joe Mack said he would work with us to get us a route through this property.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. Just sent
There you
text.
go.
I got it too.
Isn't that even better if it
Yes,
goes off of
'cause we-
364?
There's a gas well that comes pretty darn close.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Joe.
So, this time we will adjourn the work session and start the regular session at 8:04. We have anybody that wants to speak?
I've not received anything.
Okay. So we'll move right on into new business. Discuss, consider an act on the purchase of a commercial diesel zero-turn mower for the city. I have two bids. I have one that I got and one that Joshua
We
got.
have them.
Yeah, hands, sending them over now. Both of them are through the buy board,
The what?
through the buy board.
So we get the state discount.
And you can see the discounts basically the same price on both of them. One's a Kubota, one's a Deere,
This is a zero turn?
zero turn.
This is a heavy duty commercial diesel. as basically the unit that most municipalities buy to the parks and to,
So it's not like the kind I buy for my yard.
No.
I have to pay this.
We have, that's why it's.
Yeah, so-
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason the city would need a diesel, we either need diesel or propane, because we could not mow on orange or red alert days if we do not have a diesel or a propane. Gasoline for government was none existent on diesel, on orange or red days.
Okay.
So,
Not to mention the fact the longevity.
yes, but here in Texas, that takes about most of June and all of August away. We get, all July.
You're saying longevity, yet I keep hearing about all these issues with our, city diesel pickup that doesn't have many miles on it. What's the,
Nothing is actually, the only thing that's occurred as far as the motor on that pickup truck has been the attachment where the fuel filter went on, the primer section of that failed. But that was it. I mean, nothing's happened to the motor. We had electrical issues, everything was ancillary. None of it ever had to do with the actual diesel working on it.
Is it used definitely?
Huh?
It does not use
It does
definitely.
not use that.
So it is gonna give you background, so that means it's an
why doesn't use?
because it's
it's that old?
it's
It's
IT,
an 07.
It's what?
It's an 07.
so it's what we call an IT4, IT4, which
If it's idle for a long period of time, I have to get it, take it on the highway and blow it out. I don't have to put death fluid in.
they are horrible. They have lots of problems with, intercoolers. Everbrand does, because the technology wasn't there to meet the government restrictions.
So when we, and I voted against it, bought the city tractor, and I voted against it, you weren't here yet, because we didn't bid it out.
right, I was here in attendance, I remember all
Okay,
that.
I voted against it because we didn't bid it out. Now, you're saying buy board, you want to explain that?
So buy board is, every major manufacturer puts their discount package together. And one reason, to meet most bids, so you would require 3 bids. Well, there's only basically 2 companies that make a mower like this. Well, you couldn't get 3 independent bids because Zimmer Kubota owns every Kubota within
Right.
50 miles of here, or 80 miles, and United Ag owns 50-something John Deere dealers from College Station to Ardmore, Oklahoma, all the way to Holt, Arkansas. So you can't get 3,
So like
Unbiased
Henry
bids.
Shot doesn't have a
they do not sell a
diesel
diesel.
tractor, I mean,
No,
diesel.
no.
The only other builder out there that sells a diesel zero turn is Bad Boy, what that's worth, and they don't participate in buy boards.
Yes.
They don't what?
They don't participate in the buy boards, nobody gets values for purchasing them, so they don't feel the need to get.
So we got $16,199 and $15,000 there.
And I can tell you the difference on the 2 machines. The Kubota uses a hydraulic powered PTO clutch with a shaft to the deck, which I'm from John Deere rules. We always went against that because most of your power is blade to blade, where Deere uses a electric clutch and a belt to the deck. The Kubota has hydraulic deck lift, and I'm not 100% positive. I could not find anything that said that the 994 Deere, the 997 does, but that's another 3 or 4 grand.
So we're talking about the same mowing width.
Yes, they're both 60 inch. They both have,
Well, why does the Kubota say 60 and 72?
because the 72 is an option,
Okay.
where on the Deere, is a 54 and 60 is the option. The Deere is a 7 gauge. The Kubota is an 8 gauge deck, welded deck. So it's got flat deck, sides welded together, where the Deere is a 1-piece 1/4 inch thick. Stamped. With this machine, it's like 10 stories tall. It just, and it rattles your brain, but stamps the deck out of 1 piece.
So I have a ZTR, but it's gasoline and it's 60 inches. And, for me, it's plenty, but I don't know if that'd be wide enough for us.
What you get into problem with, I hate to speak for Josh, but what you get in trouble with out on for governmental or or any commercial guy, anything over 60 inch, you run into
Yeah.
hauling problems. You have to have if you have a 72 inch, you'd have to have a car top trailer. You couldn't have a
Yeah,
utility
it won't,
trailer.
it won't
You won't fit on it.
my zero turn trailer. And the other thing is this gets used for doing
72
bar
inches,
ditches.
6 foot.
Yes, then you got another
Oh, yeah,
14
my-
inches of chute. And
Okay, so 2 of my trailers are 5 feet and 2 of them are, I guess, 8 feet. Yeah.
Because right now, when I put the 60-inch Kubota that belonged to the fire department, when I put it on our trailer, I have to lift up the chute to get it on there without
We're
bringing.
using their mower.
We did. Because when ours broke down and I was otherwise told.
Is theirs a diesel?
No, it's gas, but they use it for mowing one little property.
No, I had never heard before about the red and orange.
yeah, I always done it because I was involved in, in my previous job, that's what we did. We sold the city of Dallas a ton of propane zero turn mowers. And because that's how they were gonna get around it. But then the city of Dallas was, it would not allow them to pick up one propane canister by themselves because it was over the weight limit. So they had 2 people driving around, and they won't run all day on a tank of propane. So they had 2 people driving around in a 1-ton pickup all day, changing propane tanks out in zero turn mowers.
So I see, on the Kubota, I see fluid capacities, but I don't see it on the John Deere. Is it here somewhere? I'm just
It
not
is
seeing it.
not, I don't think they put that in there, but no, they did not.
Cause that's can be a lot of money. I just changed 2 fuel filters on my diesel pickup and it was $120 just for the pickup.
And, the Kubota, the
Kubota says crankcase with filter is 4 quarts, which is not bad.
that's the Deere, is gonna be the difference. I know the Kubota has nearly a 2-gallon larger fuel tank. Whatever that's gonna be. And it'll hold a little more hydraulic oil because it has the hydraulic clutch, PTO clutch instead of the,
So how about warranties?
basically the same.
That is what?
1 year.
1 year?
I want to say the Kubota's 2 years.
Is it?
I know it is on our tractor.
Yeah, I don't think the mower is there.
Yeah, I can't speak to that. I can call right now and find out.
They're both,
Are both of them in stock at this moment?
Kubota is Deere.
Kubota is, yeah. Speaking
Yeah,
of,
let's just go with that.
The Deere would be about 3 weeks out.
Kubota. Local.
yes.
Zimmer. So you're Decatur or on this?
No, it's coming out of Fort Worth location because that's who does the municipality, but like any service work we'd ever need done would come out of Decatur.
Joshua, you're the one to be utilized. Which one do
I
you?
mean, they're both a really good machine. I have experience on the Kubota machine. I also have the ability that if ever there's a problem, I can call and get help. I mean, I have people that work for Zimmer Kubota, so I can literally call and be like, hey, I'm stuck. The 2 advantages that machine, the Kubota machine has over the Deere are the hydraulic deck, which is nice. If you're rolling, you need to change your height, you can literally just change the height of the deck. And the fact that it has a rotating front wheel setup that rotates with a crank to allow you to clean the underside without having to pull it up on ramps. You just literally crank it.
Which one's that?
That's the Kubota.
That sounds pretty good. But the John Deere place is just right around the corner.
Yeah, they're both within equal distance of here, literally.
Okay.
ZK and there are within a mile of each other as far as distance. So that's rather here or there.
Okay.
So Kubota is apparently charging $210 freight and with PDI.
I couldn't even answer that, maybe.
Yes. And the Deere, they figured that in, they don't add that to the end, yeah. And I can tell you, when I was at Deere, we always tried to do that because most consumers are used to that. Because they buy motorcycles and 4-wheelers and that world does that. And I think that's why Zimmer does that. Because their clientele is used to that.
So how much do we have in our contingency fund right to this, on this day?
Actually, this is already budgeted in my budget.
Yeah.
He's only allowed to spend so much out of his budget for that getting
How
council.
much, how much?
I did have like 130,000, but then I gave up 60,000 to go
We
to
brought
our
six-
buildings.
We about 60,000.
So I have 60,000 left for capital equipment purchases.
And
Was
we-
that before this?
Yes.
Yes.
So you'd have,
I have 40,000 give or take left over.
And when we took that money from his budget, he said, he expressed his concern that he needed this, and we said we'd make it happen.
Sounds good to me.
well, how about, do either one of them offer an extended warranty for a reasonable price?
Kubota does.
Or what is it?
I'll
Did you
find
check?
out right now.
Because that's, makes a big difference. That's worth a lot when
No, I agree.
you're looking at, repairs. So you don't know about the John Deere?
I do not, when I worked for the company, we tried not to sell
Really? Unlike car dealers who
them. Correct.
push the heck out of it.
Yes. This, I'll be honest, they're not that great. If it's Kubota warranty or Deere warranty, yes, but most warranties are an insurance policy. Extended warranties are insurance policies.
So it seemed like to me, we're pretty limited in what we have to mow. I mean, if we get the park, then we'll have to mow the park. But the bar ditches and stuff, you can't mow those. They're too deep.
Yeah, what are we mowing?
Here, the park,
But we don't have that park yet.
well, we own the property, we still have to own it.
Yeah, we have,
Are we maintaining it?
Yes,
Yes.
Huh?
yes.
when I went out there a couple weeks ago, it looked like it was being maintained, it has to be us, right?
Yes.
So what's the holdup on the park?
Well,
That's a Josh question.
Yeah.
The what?
That's a Josh question.
if one thing,
Why is
they,
that a Josh question?
He's
Well,
not involved in that.
He's been working with the grant people since they've been left.
well, for one thing, they're using the dumping, the concrete stuff from the road project out in there.
Yes.
So they're gonna have to clean all that out. And then, what they asked was, what's the status on the park project?
Why are they dumping their runoff there?
Oh, it's just temporary. It's just temporary staging while they're hauling it off.
Unload all
So, okay, while you were gone, we asked, what do we have to mow?
So,
You
okay,
can't
so,
mow bar ditches, they're too deep.
no, actually, I mowed all these bar ditches in front of here with the zero turn until it cracked out.
Okay, so this is
But
600 feet?
we got this that we mow all the way down and around the bend, all the way over to Scott's place. And then we mow the park area up there, and then when people don't,
When you say around the corner,
I mean, literally, if you go around, what's the name of that street?
Martindale.
Martindale, all the way down to where the first house is on the left-hand side of the road, that's all ours. That whole field over there, and the field I do with the brush cutter, but the outline edge on the outside I do with the zero turn.
okay.
And then I do the back behind the multipurpose building, behind City Hall, and the front area with the zero turn. Then the rest of the rough field gets done with the bush hog. And then the park area, that'll be predominantly mowed now with the zero turn because we're trying to make it where it's playable for children. You know, we don't want to leave it at weed height, we wanted it
And that's how many acres? 7?
8 acres. Yeah. And then when somebody doesn't comply on code enforcement, which is a lot on the bar ditches, it'll be used to go out there and mow bar ditches for people that aren't
But
compliant.
like on Hilltop, those bar ditches can't be mowed with it.
Some of them can't be, no. That I'm aware of. Some of them can be, some of them can't be. You know, that was brought up, under previous administration.
So what does the homeowner do? We need it?
Yeah. Like I've got a brush cutter attachment. In the event that I have to, I'll go out there and put the brush cutter attachment on the still and go out there and just sit there and get, I've done it. Oh, this will be the answer to our question here. Yes.
Okay, so my question is, do we need it? That's it. Do we need a diesel ZTR mower?
We need a diesel CTR. If we're gonna be in compliance. And no. For a governmental agency.
Well, when he mentioned it, going out there and doing work for homeowners that aren't in compliance, that's gonna come back and hit them financially, is it not?
Yes, it will.
Yes,
So,
they don't have to pay it, but until they sell it. Then
Right.
File a
Being
lien,
the
and then,
property.
and then they pay it when they sell the property.
Any abatement that we do in the city by ordinance is a $250 administration fee, and then however much per hour it costs me to go out there.
so
and do
you
whatever.
keep a running log and that just stacks.
Well, once I do that one house, then we lien it. So I will file the lien on that. If I
And
have
then
to go
every
back,
time you have to. go
every
look
time I
at-
have to go there and do it, I had to, yep. To answer the question on the zero turn, Kubota, all Kubota diesel zero turns come with a standard 2-year unlimited hour warranty. And an extended, an additional 2 years can be had for $650.
Wow, I think that's a bargain.
I think that's a bargain.
Sounds good, and I like that it's ready to go.
I was gonna tell Julie that now that we've got our court and an attorney with the court and all that set up, and we're doing it regularly now, he can start running his code enforcement through, so if they're not,
Fantastic.
So
if they're not paid or
regular,
any of that's not just
regular
sitting
lien
there.
is what? Once a month?
Or no, once a quarter.
Right now it's quarterly, we don't have enough tickets to hold once a month to pay the judge that, so we hold it at the end of every quarter. Is when we're holding court, except for at the last quarter of the year, court's held in November instead of in December.
Okay. Are these farm prices?
Yes.
These are the state discount.
Yeah, that's whatever, that's what Fort Worth would pay, or Lubbock, or Dallas, or Boyd, or any city that.
Every dealer, including John Deere, has one guy per dealership or per location that does nothing but municipalities. So I deal with Steve King, that all he deals with is municipalities. For any piece of equipment that a city will need, he's the one that I go to.
Not our Steve.
No,
No.
no.
Yeah, it just has to be right.
And
It's
actually,
conflict of interest for all of us who are listening, different person.
when you get the Kubota, we don't buy from Zimmer, we're buying from Sourcewell. Sourcewell pays Zimmer Kubota the
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
freight, dealer assembly, and PDI, and basically that's it.
Gotcha.
The dealer gets hardly any money. The only thing he gets
They
is
don't make me.
the only thing he would get is his, say, and I'm speaking because of John Deere, I know like United Ag and Turf, they're probably required to sell 2,000 zero-turn mowers a year. So if they do, they get an extra 4%. So this would add to their 4%, but they don't make any money.
Yeah, Kubota corporate will give them a spiff
Yeah,
on it,
yes.
and that's it.
Yeah, so Sourcewell pays them for PDI, delivery, inbound freight and outbound freight. And that's-
So I see this says Sourcewell, but it says at the bottom to place your purchase order directly with the dealer.
You will.
I'll call
You will.
Steve, but yeah, he still has to file all the paperwork with Sourcewell, and then Sourcewell sends it to him.
Yeah.
I have the option of going to Sourcewell and dealing with it, but I already have a relationship with Kubota, so I just go to Steve and let him monkey with the paperwork.
Sounds good.
Okay, so it's an action item.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. I'll make a motion that we buy the Kubota mower. I need to identify it somehow.
The ZD 1200, it's a 1211.
A ZD 1211-3-60. And it is a website quote number 2292809 for $16,199.22 plus a 2-year extended warranty for $650, a maximum of $650.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? All right, it passes. All right. That's no meetings about you, Josh.
You can start in on how.
Discuss it.
Comes from my department.
Discuss and consider an act on reducing the number of bids currently required by the city practices for work on municipal properties and facilities.
I don't like speaking on behalf of this.
And then basically what it is, you can't get anybody to do.
Yeah, the reason I brought this forward is everything from the concrete, I was actually able to get an adequate amount of bids, but in regards to the drywall, the metal work, I've had to beg, borrow, steal, and pray to get people to show up. If not for anything.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not alone in this.
No, you're not.
And our job's not big enough to make it.
It is, it's small, so most people are like, I'd rather go do the big one than mess with yours.
course.
So that's why I put this forward, is during these times when we're dealing with these constraints, I need a little bit of freedom to be able to grab a hold of the one bid that I actually get, if I'm lucky to get one or two, and make a judgment call on that instead of spending a month. This project wouldn't be where it's at right now if I had to wait for 3 bids. I'd still be waiting for bids on drywall and suspended ceilings and other stuff that I've gotten people to show up, but not 3 people or even 2 people.
Also, like on your truck, getting the, lap bar, that was,
Correct. Yeah, I had one individual that does all the work for the fire department that came across and offered us a really good price, but at the time, under previous administration, I was told, well, let's go here and see if we can get more prices and do this and do that. And I'm like, it's very difficult to call these people that pretty much all do nothing but like police cars, and they're getting 45 police cars, saying, hey, do you have time to give me a quote for my one truck? And that's all the city has, so we're not gonna come back to you for 14 more trucks. I just need a light bar for one truck.
so it's within his budget, it's just an example to safety wise, have a lap bar on his truck. But trying to adhere to this policy of getting 3 quotes has caused him to not have that availability, even though he is well within his authority to purchase that and it's in his budget, but trying to get the quotes is impossible at
Well,
times.
then, yeah, let's fix it.
Yeah, it's not for lack of effort. I'm not trying to be lazy.
I don't
It's
think
just
we should
genuinely
have-
the constraints.
Let me fix
that we're
that.
So,
Well,
Except him. He makes
there's gotta be a maximum of.
yeah, a dollar, yeah, I agree, the maximum dollar amount that he.
Well, then,
So that's what we're here for.
well, maybe, the mayor would have to, sign off, on that and inform the, council. 'Cause we don't want to be having to vote on everything.
No,
I don't mind sending an email out like I do my report, like, hey, guys, I've just got the bid in for cabinets. This is how much it is. This is what
But
it
yeah, then at
includes.
least you're getting, that's a good idea.
And that goes to all of y'all, and then you could write back and say, hey, let's go with this. Let's get this done.
Also, we're kind of used here past several weeks of not having a city administrator.
Right.
So
That'll change.
that'll change.
Yeah, there have been days that I, bless John's heart, he's been a good sport, but I'll call him and then I'll hang up and then, oh crud, I gotta call him again. John, I promise it'll be the last time.
Like today?
Like today.
So after that, we can probably be able to tweak this to make it a more doable type of
Yeah,
system.
but I think eventually we'll get that to a point where it's more feasible. Well, I would say within this next year, we're still gonna be dealing with these people that are very
Yes.
constrained.
Yes.
And they're gonna obviously go for what benefits them the most,
Yeah.
not what benefits
So,
us.
so can we table this till, our new city administrator has a chance to? Okay.
Have a voice in,
Yeah.
yes. Right now,
And
is
we
there
can do
anything that
it,
is,
in a couple of weeks. Let's just-
is there anything that's really,
I mean, I signed on a drywall company to do the drywall, and they were literally the only ones that would even call me back.
Okay.
So I need to get that project going, so I put them on, like, yeah, you guys start, it just has to go. It's around $6,000, to do all the work, including the painting. And then I have a cabinet maker that's waiting. I can send that out to everybody tomorrow, the information on that, and let y'all see what you think as far as that goes.
So, yeah, do that, dollar, so we know where we're at.
And then like on Wednesday, I have the guy for the drop ceiling coming, again, only guy who's bothering to show. And, I would be happy to let y'all know how much his quote is, or just send you his quote for what the drop ceilings are gonna cost.
I think the EMS build out is such an important, that we get it done.
Yes.
In timely manner.
Yes.
I know John agrees with that and the council. So I don't have a problem with him taking, responsibility and his discretion at this point and get.
Like the concrete for the TDLR, I got 3 bids on that, so I can obviously, make a decision from that. I did get 3 full bids on that one as of tomorrow. But yeah, the rest of them, it's been like, thank you for coming. Literally, I'm sitting there, thank you for showing up. I appreciate it.
We're gonna table that and we'll get back, just go ahead and send us that information. as you
Yes,
get
sir,
it.
I will.
So we'll move to 3, but 3, we're gonna go into executive session at 8:30 to pencil out a contract with Mr. John. And then we'll come back and we are going to, push number 4 till the next meeting. So at 8:31, we'll go into executive session.
He doesn't need, this guy doesn't need a immediate.
He does, but he understands. Anyway, he doesn't want to quit his job until he has to move 3 hours away. And so he will get to the very end.
It's almost like getting an extra employee.
John, you want us to
Started, I
stay?
had that zero turn. It was like, you had to go with like mid-speed, or like you'd be remowing it again, so the,
Are you
you look at it, just go along, and be like, oh, look, it's all mud, I can keep going. Look, and not worry about this stupid stuff.
I don't know.
So yeah.
These events.
Yeah, I called, my spouse, works for Timber Remote, but they didn't for capacity, so it's not a conflict of interest. But that's why I said I have somebody I can call, that's what I called right now, I said, hey, and she called Bill Pearson and got back to me and told me what I needed, which that is really useful. Sure. We've had time after, I'm like, what's it doing? And I call her up and say, hey, this light's went on, oh, do this and this and you're good. Okay, great. If I had to call a salesman and go through a dealership, so it's nice having that, when you're one man floating out there, any advantage you have is a benefit.
The packets on the ordinance, I emailed you
Okay.
what I found for our ordinance.
Yeah, what is that?
Not a whole packet, it's like a page and a half. No, so it's not much of the packet on that meeting. It's approved. No, it's all sent out via email, but I can go through previous emails that were sent out and see if they have something in there.
Yeah, it's strange because.
Well, the packets sometimes are hundreds of pages.
Yeah.
So they don't print those out, they email them to them.
One of the most important packets is the budget package.
Yes.
I think they might have all been given that, but not, because it was discussed from June until August, and approved to August 16th.
When you approve, you get budget, you approve it, you're approving several different things. First of all, approving your tax bills that you get from the county.
That's not, I don't know. Okay.
Okay, yes,
That's,
Do you need anything from me?
yes, this I need a signature on, this is the back.
Okay. Get this one. Okay, we are back from executive session at 10:09.
I would like to say good luck to you tomorrow.
blessings. They think,
So we need a motion to tentatively, or should we just announce it and accept it?
we see table it.
Okay,
You think so?
Yeah, because it's an action item.
yeah, so we can announce, we just read a tentative.
We can.
Yeah.
We can.
So we'll be back to executive order, and after that, we would just like to announce that we've made a tentative agreement with, what's your last name, John?
Cabrales.
Cabrales, thank you, to be our new city administrator. We hope to have contract in place and him to start April 4th.
Oh, nice.
So, with that, thank you. And, we have to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Sorry, we went from like.
Oh, no. It's actually early. Yeah.
Hey,
Somebody else.
Oh, we make this early.
that's okay, please don't say that.
So it's,
That's not early.
we're gonna put on the city website about the lines.
Yeah, I'm good too.
You have to deal with a couple of them, just all of them.
Dave, you're in our prayers for tomorrow.
Thank you.
So you come and help me?
No.